What's going on, everyone? Jared Couture here from Kung Fu Music Lessons. Today we're going to be talking about technique in this lesson, and we're going to be talking about slides. So sliding around is super fun, super cool, super awesome expression tool. And a great way to navigate the fretboard. It's a great way to create legato lines. There's so many amazing things about this. But either way, let's do some slides. This is one of our basics for our expression tools. Let's have some fun. And I'm going to show you some practice tools that you can use. So we're going to be talking about slides. So I guess the first thing to do is understand that, when you slide a note, basically we're holding on to any note. I'm going to hold the very first fret of the low string here. This is an F, right? So the thing is, when you slide, you got to hold on and don't let go. So hit F, we're going to slide up 1/2 step. So we hit the string, then we slide, we continue to hold, sustain, and then squeeze, slide, continue, hold, sustain. So we are moving the note by continuing to hold down that string. Let's just try to slide 1/2 steps with this first finger. Hit, slide, hit, slide. The idea is to hear the second note as loud as the first one. So when you do slide, you kind of have to squeeze down and really squeeze, When you slide it, make sure you're squeezing down, still on the string, and then when you get there, you can kind of add another extra little squeeze to make sure that note pops out. Doesn't exactly have to be like that, but that would be a good thing to do. So we're sliding 1/2 steps first because it's the first interval, the first potential note, right? I'm going to use a different finger up here. It's harder to get up there like that. Let's go backwards, all the way up your entire string. Squeeze down real tight, make sure to get sustained. Try to get as much volume on the second note as you have on the first. This is the key. It's going to make you sound awesome, one finger at a time. Also, this will really build your calluses if you just practice something like this. Alright, let's try the second finger. Don't have to keep hitting the string if we're holding down tight enough. It will continue to sound. Let's go through each finger. I'm going to go through each finger. Do this at your own pace because of the way that it's affecting the finger. Like I'm getting a callus on each finger. I want them all to feel equally strong. I want them all to feel good. They can all do this, not just one finger. So we can start with 1/2 steps, the first interval, then lead into other intervals, and also do this in scales, of course. We're sliding from note to note in a scale. This scale is the chromatic scale. We're using each finger to build the same strength, okay? Next scale will be whole tone. All whole steps, all the way up. All whole steps, all the way down. Try it out. Use a different finger. I'm going to go minor thirds. E to G, 3rd fret. All minor thirds. I want you to try this out. All minor thirds. Try that out. Next finger, let's do major thirds. Augmented chord. And we're going 2 whole steps each time. Let's go ahead and do fourths. Pinky, E to A. So this is going to be 5 1/2 steps up. It's kind of hard to see, but the circle of fifths. A to D, 10th fret. D to G, that's 15th fret. G to C. All the way up here, we're going to go back down. G, D, and really, honestly, you can be hitting any notes you want right now. It doesn't even matter. But I decided to go through the intervals because this is also part of our training, basic red strap training. Might as well use it and hear those sounds and be practical because we're going to use that stuff. You want to see it on one string. So this is a good way to start with your intervals. And then we can also, of course, do this with scales. So let's do this with a scale. So here, G is right here. 3rd fret of the E string, G note. Just play a G major scale. It's going to have one F sharp in it. Everything else is natural note. But we're going to slide our first finger, only one finger, through the scale. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. You can do this with me at your own tempo. We can also hit one note, hit to the next. Only hit right before we slide. Hit, slide. Hit, slide, like this. Hit, slide. 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 This is a good way to practice, get the feel of each finger. Let's do this with the second finger. Hit, slide, hit, slide, hit, slide, hit, slide, hit, slide, hit, slide, hit, slide. Backwards, hit, slide. It's okay, you can do this at your own pace. It's okay. Next finger, same thing. Next finger, same thing. Last one. Feel it on each finger. Because then everything you do is just going to work better. So this is one way to get in there with the slides. First we chose intervals, you know, that kind of is a scale, they are scales, and then we chose an actual scale that we would use, okay, to create a slide. But now, if you can do that, then really we're pretty set. We just add it to our scales. I'll say here's another good one though, okay? Let's try just one finger and sliding up to target notes. So first one I want to do is an octave, G all the way up to G. Look at where the octave is, okay, 15th fret. You can tap it easily like this, but it's good to see that distance of the actual octave. That's what an octave is, right? But now I want you to slide up into it, try to slide right into it, and then just pause and sustain. Can you do it? Try to be really accurate. Second finger, I'm going to try each finger. And then, now what's fun is, I'm going to make sure you can see my face. Try it with closing your eyes. Oh, so close. Half step. See, the part of this is like just knowing how far away it is and also using your ear. But when you're playing music, I love to slide up to a note, like we're playing something. You see, I hit that root and then slid up. It sounds cool. It's a great thing to do. So sliding an octave is a really good place to go, but doing it with your eyes closed, because when we're playing, like when we're really in the zone, I'm just sliding notes around in octaves. What I'm saying is you might not be really paying attention so much to the guitar. You're really in the moment, like playing. So we want to be able to, bam, just know the distance of an octave, be able to slide that. Next step, let's actually harmonize our scale, right? We have the major scale, right? The G major, we're in the key of G so far. Let's actually harmonize it. Let's slide to each note. Harmonize the scale means skip the notes in thirds to create the chord. So we're going to slide G skips A goes to B, B skips C goes to D, and I'm going to go all the way up to the octave. These are the actual notes of a G chord. G, B, D, G. So we're playing the actual triad. Let's go to the second chord, A minor. A skips B goes to C, skips D goes to E, goes all the way to E. Three chord is B minor. B skips C goes to D, skips E goes to F sharp, skips G and A. At this point, we can slide up to our octave. C major, C major, D major. We're running out of room, so I'm going to just play three notes. So we're actually sliding these arpeggios, all right? So this is another way to do this. And I'm gonna go ahead and just do one more kind of thing. So we've been in the key of G, and you can slide through your scales and through your arpeggio. So I don't know which scales everyone is watching knows, but check this out. If you do know the cage system, which we do, and the red strap, then you'll know some of these scales, or all of them. So here's this one. So I could play it like that, right? So I could slide all those notes of the scale. So I'm using the major pentatonic, or the key of G. So here's this chord right here. This is our E shape. There's our arpeggio. Here's our major pentatonic scale. G, A, B, D, E, G, A, B, D, E, G, A. That's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Starts over. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2 is all right there. All right. So we could use our scales, and when we're playing them, we could slide those notes instead of just playing like to the note every time. And then we could be into different scales, because sliding will help us bounce through our scales, our caged and all that stuff. But also melodically on one string, it sounds so beautiful, like the key of G major, right? So I'm gonna hit an E minor actually, because E minor is relative to G major. Sliding back and forth on the notes of G major. Hitting an E because it's the relative minor. So you can go through the scale like this, but then we can actually make cool melodies. I did some vibratos in another video. Make sure to check the video about vibrato. It sounds beautiful combination. So here's some other ways to slide them. Another thing we can do is slide through our shapes, right? Here's our cage system. We got all those patterns, but we can slide into them. Like I'm sliding through and ending up in different places on the neck, but I'm just thinking like, okay, here's these notes. That slides me into this shape. Now that slides me into that shape. See, I'm on that one. That slides me into that shape. Slides me into this shape. Slides me back into this shape. See what I'm saying? So a good practice would be to try to do what I'm doing, is saying 1, 2, 3, like pull off, slide, 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 pull off, slide around. Or hammer on, going up. Hammer on, slide, hammer on, slide, hammer on, slide. Going through your scales. Hammer on, slide, hammer on, slide. And this is a way you can gain some really cool speed. And go back and forth. So I went this way, turned around. This is a really good pentatonic scale to know. Another good way to do this is to do like, so you hammer, slide. So it's like 3 notes per string, 2 notes per string. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. That's 5. Pentatonic scale. Then it starts over. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. That's 5. And it just starts over in the next octave. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. But we slide 1, 2, 3, the third note, and then hammer on. So hammer, slide, hammer. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, slide 2 every time. I'm gonna slide the last one to get to the octave. 1, 2, 3. But within that, you can just pick any one spot and then kind of go up and down. lot of bass players do fills like this. All right, so there's a lot of stuff on slides that you can use. I hope you enjoy. Practice this stuff. Use it in your playing. Have fun, and we'll see you in the next lesson.